Hi, my name is Stuart with the Machine Shop in Delray Beach, Florida. This is the Aston Martin motor that was brought to us. What we've done to this block, the customer brought it to us because he threw the number 6 and number 12 rod. So we had to re-sleeve him. We had to have the crank welded and reground. And when we got the specs from the pistons and the rods, we had to rebalance. I'm sad that this happened. I owned an Aston Martin like this. I would do this before this accident would happen. Lucky enough, it didn't go, when the rods let loose, it didn't go through the block. It could go through the block very easily. It did quite extensive damage to the cylinders and to the crank. The rods and pistons were custom built for him by Carella and by CP. Much superior. What should have been in this motor to begin with for the cost of what this gentleman paid for this motor. What I'm doing here is reassembling the short block, installing the CP pistons and rods, getting it all ready to send back to Barry to put back in the car. Gap, depending on what you're running. Yeah. These are 90 degrees from this.
Right, as you can see, obviously all the engineering work's been done and all the parts are here ready to be assembled. So obviously the heads we've had done as well, they've all been machined and have obviously all been rebuilt, and the valves have been replaced. The exhaust valves are made from a material called Inconel, which is obviously a lot stronger, can take a lot more heat. The inlet valves have been made from stainless, so they're obviously a lot stronger and can take a lot more durability. So obviously there's been repair work been done here and here to the actual cylinder. The cylinders, the heads themselves have actually been, they've all been ported and polished. So obviously you've got no resistance of flow of fuel going through. You've got duplex valve springs, rather than the actual ones themselves that was original on it, was a single valve spring, now they're duplex. It's got titanium valve heads. So obviously the actual, what that holds the valve springs in the titanium. So it's all been completely reworked, and obviously now it's more or less towards racing standards. Obviously the engine has been reworked. We used the original casing. We've put 2 new cylinders, sleeves in here, which basically the old ones have been pressed out with the damage that was in them. We've put 2 new ones in, number 6 and number 12 have been relined, and then obviously we've had a new set of pistons made up, new com rods to obviously build it all back together again. And if I just turn this over, now you can actually see the actual crankshaft itself. See, this is where the actual damage, the main damage was done. This is 6 and 12 cylinders. And the crankshaft itself, the journal has been welded and reworked. So obviously now we can actually reuse the crankshaft again because it wasn't that excessive damage. Now we've put the heads on and we've put the bolts in loosely, now we've got to go to the torque settings.
now, as we've obviously put the heads on, now we're going to go to the stage of putting the lifters in, and then we will be fitting the camshaft once we've given the head the second torque stage.
As you can see now, we're putting the roller rockers on, which obviously complete the camshaft assembly with the valves, the lifters, and then the camshafts will be going in. They just lay in place like that. As you can see, obviously the camshafts are laid in place now on top of the rockers. Just cleaning the last one and lay that in place. And then we'll have to torque down the caps, put the timing chains on, time it all up, and that'll be the main part of the assembly of the engine.